What's up, everybody? What's up, my horror fam, my horror geeks, my horror freaks? This is Christian Creasy.
I'm Lionel Chapman.
Ira Childs.
And welcome to the Trio Blood podcast. Today we have some special guest horror filmmakers. They are the winner of the Chicago Horror Film Festival. They are the official selection of the Indie Horror Film Festival. They are winners of the Chicago Horror Film Festival again, so twice winners. And they are honorable mentions of Boobs and Blood International Film Festival of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one and only Kino Crew!
Yay!
All right. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I appreciate the boobs and blood honorable mention thrown in there. That's my favorite.
Without boobs and blood,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yes.
Bro.
Let's go.
Let's go. All righty. All right. So we appreciate you guys coming on and to talk about horror and to talk about your films and your upcoming films on the way.
Mhm.
Especially can't wait till we talk about Gobblehead.
3 and 1.
So let's get started. To all of you, the first question is we want to ask, where did the love for filmmaking come from? What inspired you to become filmmakers? When did that happen?
You want to go first? We go alphabetical order.
That sounds good.
We'll let Josh do it. Hey, Josh, want to go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go.
All right. Yeah, sure. I first kind of fell in love with movies and filmmaking and stuff like that when I was in high school. I've always really enjoyed movies and things like that, but it wasn't until I was in high school I had an assignment I had to write an essay about a great American artist, and the first person on the list of options was Steven Spielberg, and so my brain was just like, oh, I'll just like watch movies for this project. It'll be easy, and so I watched his movies. I read a biography of his, and then that went into all of like the people that he watched growing up and all the films that he watched when he was young and stuff like that and everything that inspired him. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta watch all these movies too. And just kind of created this like, this effect where I just couldn't stop watching movies just all the time. And I started to make movies with a couple of friends I had in high school. And, that's just kind of how it all started. And then when I was in college, I went to Columbia College Chicago, which is actually where I met Alex. And then, hey, right on. And then when I was there, I was mostly doing screenwriting. And then in the years since, I've fallen into doing a lot of editing, color correction, color grading, stuff like that. Some, and some directing as well. I've just been lucky enough to do some directing and editing for my day job, although there hasn't been as much of that lately because of the COVID stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of been such an important part of my life for the last I don't know how many years now, almost 20 years or so. Yeah, I mean that's kind of just like the tipping point of just how I got started in just having the love of films, love of filmmaking, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I loved like drawing and reading when I was growing up. My sisters are also my older sisters. They're like twin sisters. They're both twins. They were very much actors in high school. They did a lot of projects in high school that involved filmmaking. So they would do like video projects and stuff like that. And I thought that was very inspiring. Then I started to pursue it, and then I got hooked. I did some courses at Marwin Art Institute, which was like an after school matters like video production for young kids kind of deal. So that was really cool, and I learned how to do some editing there. And then I continued making movies with my buddies, and backyard movies. And after that, I went to Columbia, and that's where I met Josh, and then we met Nathan through there.
Nice.
Just love telling stories and finding more excuses to make movies in the backyards with my buddies.
That's what always starts. Yeah.
For myself, similar. Basically, ever since I was a kid, I was into, creative pursuits. Anything from drawing cartoons, a lot of drawing cartoons, comic strips, that kind of stuff. Playing with Legos. Legos is a big one. Building forts, what have you. And got to the point where I was drawing. I was like very much like cartoons were like was like where I really landed. And I was like obsessed with The Simpsons at the time. This is like 5th and 6th grade, 11th and 12 years old. So I'd like watch The Simpsons every day. Fox 32, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock after school, recording it off TV on the VCR. Remember VCRs? So at that point, I was just like, I really like to animate my drawings. So I was drawing like little Simpsons characters because they're easy to draw. I made I created like my own little like cast of characters and my own little like show ideas. One idea that I made like these animated shorts of was like I made up these characters that were all like hillbilly characters, and because I was like obsessed with like old TV shows like the Beverly Hillbillies and Green Acres at the time, and so that was just hilarious to me. And so I made like these little hillbilly characters and made cartoons with an old camcorder and like overhead projector transparencies for the cells and backgrounds that I drew with colored pencil and watercolor. Made a lot of those, made a lot of other shorts like that, and then as they say, I started in animation and got lazy and got into filmmaking. And at that point, I when I was in high school, started making like little sketch videos. This is like pre-YouTube, and then when YouTube launched, started uploading things to YouTube, little sketch videos, and then eventually those turned into short films. And fast forward, now I'm doing this kind of stuff with Alex and Josh, and Stevo is a regular collaborator.
Oh, nice, man.
I didn't go to film school. Ever since I was a kid, I would be known for like reenacting movies all the time. So I was like, if it was a Chris Farley movie or reenacting Adam Sandler bits, it was like me and my brother were always doing that. But even since I was a kid, like even reenacting music videos of Weird Al, or just doing anything I could to make my family laugh. Mm-hmm. And so I started doing improv at at IO, Comedy Sports, and doing improv around the city. And when I started teaching, that's where I met Alex in high school. I started teaching at Shur's High School.
Nice.
And after a couple of years, after he took my class, he hit me up and said, like, hey, do you want to, play a character in one of my short films, which was like a really short little trailer. And I got to play a cult leader that just had one famous line that he's about to get killed by this guy. And I just go, you can't stop. Summer vacation. And it was just, ever since then, I got the bug. And honestly, I've always created stuff. I always wrote down like sketch ideas. But what really got me was actually finally seeing a set and having people all on the same page. So it was a lot of fun.
That is real. And it's something when the bug bites you. It's
severe.
Yeah.
It's like if they're like, you know what? Everybody else, well, you should be thinking also about doing this. Like, nah, I'm not.
The worst part is when, like, once you get the bug, you can't go to anybody's houses without saying, like, hey, can we shoot a movie?
Yeah.
Or say something insulting like, yeah, your house is really creepy.
Yeah. Can I see your basement?
Can we like blow something up in your backyard?
Constantly finding myself all the time when I'm walking down the street, I'm seeing certain streets or certain architecture. I'm like, ooh, this would be a cool shot to film a horror scene in. Ooh, I can see myself cool shot to film this block in. This is some they got this Halloween vibe to it. Like I could definitely shoot. Let me write this down.
Yeah.
I'm always taking reference photos. Like if I'm walking somewhere, like I need to take a cell phone picture of this street. It looks good. We might come back here or something like that.
That's a good.
Here's a creepy barn. I'm taking a picture of this. We'll find who owns it. If not, running just run and gun.
Easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
Okay, I got a question. What's the story behind Gobblehead? You know,
Like the premise or how we came up with it.
how you came up with it? You know.
Man, that was a
That was me and you.
brainstorming session.
Yeah, so there's many brainstorming sessions that happen in Alex's old room that, we just got done filming the masterpiece, The Bowel Movement. And and it's like, okay, if we just did that shit film, let's make another. And
Literally.
we're allowed to say the S Wade, right?
Yeah.
We ruined it. We ruined it.
But then I was just sitting with him and we were talking about films. Like we really were starting to bond on what films that we actually really liked that were slasher films or what were even like, the more classic, eerie suspense films. But then he was like, I want to do a slasher one. The next one's got to be a slasher. And I think
It was like, we were like, let's do it. How have we not done the slasher? And then we were like, let's do something holiday themed. Well, let's do Thanksgiving. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies. And then Steve was like, how about we call it Gobblehead? We picked like the most goofiest thing ever. And I think it was like also there was a marketing angle initially.
my mind was in marketing at the time, going like, okay, if we're gonna do a movie, it's got to rhyme with like bobblehead or something. Like you have a gobblehead bobblehead. It was just like it went straight for like, we got to sell merch, and I mean we still haven't made anything.
No,
yet,
we're not done that yet. It's
Working on it. Had to make the movie first.
Yeah. So it started from just
we wrote like a whole treatment. We busted out the whole treatment in one night.
Yeah.
And it's like parts of it slowly gets adapted each movie.
Yeah, like the first draft that we wrote is not in the first movie or the second one. It probably will make it to the 8th.
Yeah. Once he goes to space. Once
Yeah.
Gobblehead goes to space.
You gotta go to space.
Right.
You gotta go to space.
What I love about Gobblehead is very creative. It was something different that I never seen before, and you added the comedy. One of my favorite part. Everybody's there eating the chicken, eating the yard bird, as we call it, and then you have some person who's the vegetarian or vegan there. I'm like, yeah, there always got to be the vegan who spoils the party.
Had to have one.
At least one.
That was the tension.
Why are you eating that dead carcass? Good.
Yeah.
So that's but yeah, that's one of the reasons why I definitely gravitate towards it, because it is different and something I've never seen before, and you added the comedy too in there, which I like. It's like sometimes I look at horror movies and they try to be funny forcefully. I'm like, are you trying to make this little moment that you just fucked up with some comedy? It's like, let it happen naturally. Why try to make it funny? But normally when we watch like horror films or someone do something, the character doesn't think it's funny. We think it's funny.
Yeah.
I love the colors in the film. How it was shot. The colors you guys used. and they had like that Texas Chainsaw Massacre type.
Yeah, we saw
to
the reference at the end
Was
towards
it part two, right?
That was part two,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
part two.
Okay, that was part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to part two.
Yes.
Well, for me, I like the I think that's the kind of 1930s kind of feel that it has, like a trailer, like this is Gobblehead, and then someone's getting a screw nailed in their head or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that also
Yeah,
brought the comedy
Mhm.
for me as well.
that was a very creative choice.
Yeah, very, very.
Because I thought at first when I first saw it, I thought like, is this the trailer or the movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, like it's a trailer, but it's actually the movie.
and it works.
And they're like
It
that.
works.
That was good.
It does. It does.
You know.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate it. The goofy trailer guy voice. That's Nathan doing the voiceover.
Oh, really?
Killing it.
Those old trailers just hit you over the head with the title constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the food
As
reference.
redundant as possible with the name.
Yeah, and that was like part of the concept too, because like when we made the first Gobblehead, we had just finished Cottonmouth, and we really didn't have very much time to make it. The first Gobblehead was less than 20 days from our internal green light until we released it, so we were just like, okay, we can't go making a whole short film, but we can make a long trailer and like suggest what the story is, and that ended up being the style that got. That the reception of that was very favorable. So we're like, okay, just keep going. So like now they're like a combination of like trailer and short film. The part 3 will be like we'll get to that later, but like that'll be more short film than trailer. But like 2 is very much that hybrid. Also because it's like we don't have a whole story to put in here or the time to do it, but you can suggest what the story is. You can pick up on it. And there are also like some of those like trailers from back in the day that are several minutes long.
Oh,
too,
the old trailers.
Mhm.
They spoil the film basically.
Yeah,
That's all the good parts.
Yeah.
Right. Like start. Yeah. Start. Shit.
I wasn't like working with Chantelli because I worked with her before.
Oh, cool.
Before as
And
well.
Kelly's great. She's phenomenal.
I brought Chantelli on because me and her did a Christmas sketch together that she was, my buddy called me on and he was like, okay, I want you to be this flamboyant, super over the top gay director that just wants to make everything overly sexual at this Christmas like cooking show.
It's Christmas cookies.
Christmas cookies. It was called Christmas cookies. So just making everything super sexual and over the top for Christmas cookies. And Chantelli was in it, and she was such a sport because by the end of it, she was hearing me say like the most foul shit improvise. And, I'm saying to the director, and I'm going like, yeah, your friends were really great. Those are, really great people. They were really cool with the jokes I was saying, and hell yeah. And he's like, what do you mean? I don't know. They're on a call list. And I'm like, I've been saying this shit to them the whole time. I've been talking about jizzing on cookies for 2 hours. And honestly, because Chantelli was like became like the extra / assistant to me. So she's like pouring wine down my throat and just dealing with all this weird shit. And we're just laughing, me and her. But by the end of it, I'm like, I don't even know her. So it's like one of those moments I'm like, oh my God. I'm one of those people like I gotta read the room a bit. Like go like, okay, if I'm gonna make like dick jokes for like, fucking 2 hours, I better know what I'm saying. This
Right.
She's very sweet, very laid
and she's
back.
very sweet. She's
Very
Very professional and come in to work.
extremely
Yeah, she basically gets everything right on the first take, and with her, it's like the second take is the one for luck, not the third take.
Yeah.
But her scream in Gobblehead 1 will forever haunt me because he said to her, like, okay, well, just give us a scream. Like, you're getting your eye pulled out. And that roof nearly flew off when she started screaming.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Alex.
Dude, I was there.
The best thing was Alex at the end just kind of goes, all right, cut.
It was like it's a part. It was like a chill party atmosphere, and then it was just like very like serious. Like, oh Jesus!
Like Alex's timing on that was just going like, all right, good. We were almost like,
did a good job. Yeah, it's amazing working with her. We worked together on several projects. I met her when we did another web series called In and Out when we played.
I think I saw a couple of those. Really good.
Yeah, and that's when I first met her, and she brings a lot of good energy and joy to the set. That's why I love working with her. And when she came on work with Herman,
Yeah.
it was the exact same thing. So I'm glad. Yes, Chantelli she's great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to working with her again.
For sure.
And since we on the subject of horror, and you guys, feel free if you got any questions you want to ask about us. It's fine. We can try to make it more like a conversation instead of like an interview per se.
Yeah.
Feel free. But where did y'all love for horror came from? Is there any particular film that caught you guys? I know for me, I know for me, when I was 4, it was George A. Romero's Day of the Dead that hooked me.
Yeah, choke on him.
I can quote that movie from front to back, especially with Steel and Wrinkles' piece when they down there about to tangle up the zombie. Fucking A, biggest piece of I don't want to cite the lady though, not what boyfriend around.
Honestly, Night of the Living Dead, that one freaked me the hell out, especially the shovel with the little girl.
Oh yeah.
I was maybe 6 years old when I saw that. That terrified the hell out of me. But I think what really got me into horror was Creep Show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
Creep Show, like
Same.
I think me and him bond on like always stuck to that. Okay, short stories, change it up a little bit, and like have an anthology style movie. Because I mean, if you think like even something like Cottonmouth or Gobblehead, a full length movie of that, it's hard to have such a cool character and try and stretch them out for an hour and a half when you can have a cool character and just make the audience question after 20 minutes.
Yeah. And the stakes are higher in the short because in a feature, it's sometimes a little bit easier to pinpoint, well, who's going to make it out of this alive?
Yeah.
And in a short, they could just be like, well, everybody dies, or they're just not going to make it out. It's a little bit more tense.
Yeah.
But, and plus Creep Show is just like fun. It's scary and creepy, but also it's just a fun. Like it's funny and it's vibrant colors too. That's definitely an influence by Goblin.
Yeah, it was.
So to Nathan.
Okay.
What's scared you, Nathan?
Oh no! Like, yeah, it's interesting. Like, as far as like me and genres go, like, I'm sort of a recent conversion of like liking horror as like a genre in itself. Like before we started, or like before I started working with Alex or doing Kino Crew stuff, especially, like horror movies were just like I would watch them to kind of like check the boxes off. Like, they're the classics you got to watch. Like you got to watch The Shining, you got to watch Psycho, etc., etc. Like what I like the most actually are like offbeat character dramas, like About Schmidt with Jack Nicholson is my favorite movie because it's just
so scary. But aging.
Yeah, it's like there are just goofy character driven sort of dramedies are like my favorite kind of movies, but like those are hard to sell and make money from. So like when we started doing this, it was like, okay, horror movies always sell, and especially with Terrifier 2 years ago, it's like, all right, this is the direction to go. And you could throw the comedy in there too. So it's like, this is just a perfect sort of stew of all the things I like in a format that's fun to make. and that is sellable. Kind of as they say, if you want to be stressed out on a set, make a comedy. If you want to have fun, you make a horror movie. So that's where I came into it. Like ever since then, I've been like working to catch up. Like on the YouTube Free with Ads channel, like just a whole lot of old like Italian giallo and other like horror movies just started showing up, along with a lot of Corman stuff. I know that's not like super scary horror, but like a lot of origins come from that. So I've just been like binging stuff like that. And whenever like we're starting to work on something new, I'll like is cinematographer. I'll ask Alex, what influences you want me to work with? Have you seen? He'll be like, watch Black Christmas and whatever else.
Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, or what's that? Or Hereditary. Watch that. Hereditary for Cottonmouth and Black Christmas for Gobblehead 3. So
And if you have time,
Yeah.
watch Waterboy.
yeah. So yeah. Then I'll keep catching up. When stuff comes my way or when I gotta watch something for influence.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't really watch that many horror films when I was younger. But I think what did ultimately get me into horror movies was when I saw Alien for the first time. Just because I like at that point I had been watching movies like pretty intensely for a couple of years. And I think I was like a freshman in college at the time, the first time I saw it, and I threw it on thinking just like, oh, it's one of those movies that, people really like to talk about, whatever. And I was just like totally floored. And I was just like, I can't believe like I've like never seen anything like this before. And would definitely I will say one of my favorite parts of that movie, obviously, is the iconic chest burster sequence. But I had seen one of my favorite movies as a kid was actually Spaceballs. And so when in Spaceballs, when he says, "Oh no, not again," now that I'm older, I'm like, "Oh, that's John Hurt. It's the same fucking thing." And that just absolutely kills me every single time. But yeah, that's not just one of my favorite horror films, but one of my favorite movies in general. And I think as I've gotten older, watched more films, I've spent a lot of time watching classics, a lot of time watching a lot of schlock, a lot of time watching, like the A24 horror type stuff. I'm a huge fan of Mike Flanagan, who did like Doctor Sleep and Hill House and Midnight Mass and stuff like that. I've read so much Stephen King over the years, so like I think it's definitely just something that there's not any like I think Alien's probably the one like specific movie that I could point to and be like, oh, like that was like the turning point. Yeah, I mean like nothing really compares to that, I don't think. Even like the new Alien films, like they're fun and I enjoy them, but at the same time, it's just like nothing's gonna beat that first one. Like that first one is just so untouchable. But yeah, I could talk about Mike Flanagan all fucking day. I love how just how like honest his films are. I mean, I know that he's like dealt with alcoholism like in his personal life, and a lot of his films and shows kind of explore that really intensely. I think people are kind of tired of like legacy sequels and stuff like that, but Doctor Sleep is one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's just such a perfect sequel to something that shouldn't really have a sequel at all. But yeah, that's sort of I try to watch a lot of everything. So not just horror stuff, obviously, but try to keep as open a mind as possible when it comes to whatever I watch.
Nice. Now let's talk about Cottonmouth. I enjoy watching Cottonmouth. What inspired you guys to come up with to make Cottonmouth, or what that story? Because that was
I'm glad you guys enjoyed Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth was we were trying to come up with incredibly low budget film to shoot, and this was I want to say 2018, maybe the initial draft had been written, and we were gearing up to film it, and then the pandemic happened, and it was placed on the back burner.
We literally, I want to point out, we literally had like a shooting date for like the end of, it was supposed to be like March 28th, 2020. And obviously that did not happen.
Which is kind of a tiny miracle because then it kind of metamorphosized and changed with time. And then when we finally got to it, it was like, all right, there was like a distinct vision. We knew exactly how we wanted to do it. And that was like, we wanted to, basically the initial idea was, what is one of the dumbest things we can do and play it 100% straight. And we played that 100% straight. And I got people I wanted to work together with for a long time on something. And those people were my sister, Nicole, who played the lead in the film.
Okay.
Her husband, Kyle, my brother-in-law, also played the husband. Okay. So natural chemistry right there. Plus they are already actors and improv artists. So it's just like, okay, so we knew we could have fun and rely on them to turn in some really interesting performances. And then the guy, the uncle, is my uncle.
Oh,
So my uncle Tico lent his presence to the film. He brought some gravitas to that performance. And the sock puppet itself, that voice came from this man right here. Stevo played the sock puppet.
nice.
He killed it.
Honestly, that was a very fun experience because it was the first time doing like voice acting, and watching what was already shot and then have to play off of it. My favorite scene is still when they're watching TV and I just have to dub over the puppet laughing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, like, that's how I feel like I laugh when it's like over the top. Like if you want me to over the top laugh, there you go. And just hearing in the background, it's like, oh, you're watching Cook That Baby. And that's a shout out to Tim Perez, his brother.
Oh yeah, my brother Tim
making a game show.
Also composer.
Yes.
Composer, yes.
Also composer.
It is a family affair. He went ahead and he
This is a family affair. And I think the scene when they were looking at the TV, that's one of my favorite scenes because you just see your sister just looking at like, what the fuck is going on?
Thank you. That was like the first scene that was written for that entire movie. So I'm glad everybody kind of loves that, and I appreciate it. It's kind of great.
And the whole experience was like just a real product of like pent up creative energy because that wasn't our first project overall since the pandemic subsided. That was a music video that we made for Stevo's band. Mm-hmm. But like it was the first like proper short film project with a script, with locations, etc. that we'd done since that time. So we were all like ready to make something new and just go crazy with the creative ideas and so forth. And then also another family connection. We shot it at Alex's sister and now husband's house. So everyone was involved and everyone's credited somewhere.
My other sister was like, "You want to film a horror movie at my house?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
We had it. It also, another family member, she's in the credits too. Like Nicole was actually pregnant with their first child, who's now 2, when we shot that. And so that was also like helpful as like a clock to race against because we were like, all right, we have to wrap before she starts her 3rd trimester in this humid, hot summer. So we just we got it together and we did pre-production took about a month and then we filmed it by just after the 4th of July we wrapped. And we're like, all right, cool. We're now free to continue and we'll see Rose in September.
So not only do we have an issue with running into people's houses and locations, but if you're pregnant, we're like, okay, we need to work with you.
Well, Well, and she's actually, I mean, there have been two pregnant actors, because, like, you can't see it because she's seated at the table, but Alana, who was in the first Gobblehead, was also expecting when we filmed with her that time, too, so.
Yes, this is also true. I'm his friend here.
We gotta find a guy with one arm.
That's on our list.
Yeah, Dad, because when I look at the talking sock, almost like, did they get that from Mick Foley's Socko in WWE?
That's the wrestling community.
Listen, I love Mankind. I love Cactus Jack. Me and my brother, giant wrestling fans, so it probably is osmosis there. Maybe that came a little bit from there. And people have pointed out Batman references as well, because I know there's a ventriloquist bad guy in the Batman mythos.
Yeah, the ventriloquist, yeah.
And I would just be like, yeah, I mean, people are like, dude, was that an inspiration? And I was like, yeah, sure.
It kind of reminds me, but it is unique because you see the father is like, I don't want to do. I'm like, the question is, it was like, what price needs to be paid? You know, like that's the mystery, because they got me questioning. Did he do something? Did somebody do something? Because this sock was like, price got to be paid.
Yeah, he was on it.
It's a debt need to be paid. Either you're gonna do it or I'm gonna do it. So which one is it gonna be? I'm like, what the fuck did he do?
Alex, when he was pitching me it, he was saying it was a collaborate or taking Rosemary's Baby and what was the Hitchcock?
Shadow of a Doubt.
Shadow of a Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of came with the Cottonmouth. I'm like,
With a sock.
with a sock though. It's Rosemary's Baby, but with a sock puppet.
Yeah, the moral of the story in Cottonmouth is because it's Uncle Avery, you never take in family members, I guess. They bring their baggage, even when you want to help, even a sock puppet.
There's certain family members I won't take in. Like, nah.
Fishing visitors stink after 3 days.
So, is there going to be a sequel? Because they left because he ended up being on the mom.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it'd be really interesting to maybe explore another Cottonmouth.
Mhm.
Actually, it's funny you brought it up because there's I was thinking if we were to do anything, it would be like a Christmas themed one.
Oh, nice.
And it would be her. She's got the baby, and maybe at this point she's divorced. I'm not sure yet.
You're crazy. I'm out of here.
Like she's like alone on Christmas Eve, and there's like the stockings on the fireplace, and then, of course she's just like hallucinating. But is she possessed? I don't know. Just kicking around ideas at this point.
She's just the character from Terrifier 3.
Hey, funny. That would be.
So you said your inspiration for like majority of the shots for Cottonmouth came from Hereditary? Yeah, did I get that right?
Yeah, like Hereditary-ish. I think, but it was like a joke almost, where we were like, "What is like an A24 classy style indie drama horror film?"
Mhm.
And it's like Hereditary, the works of that guy, and Josh mentioned like Mike Flanagan, where it's like they are character dramas, and the shot composition is very. It's a very different vibe from a Gobblehead.
Yeah.
Very, very different kind of. It's like a very serious film, and
Very stately.
very stately, and we just wanted to pack it with just a bunch of goofy shit and play it 100% straight. I remember sending references to Nathan prior to shooting that I think Amityville Horror was also some references there, especially some of the attic stuff.
Yeah,
that was definitely Amityville Horror inspired. Just like a couple dealing with some paranormal stuff in their home. The 70s was definitely a vibe, and then that's also reflected in like the poster art, which Josh put together, and it's some of my favorite poster art ever. I'm a big fan of horror movie art in general, and that even if I didn't know what the hell Cottonmouth was, I would be like sharing it and be like, "What is this?" It's like pulpy and like grainy, and Josh did such a stellar job. He managed to even snag an award for it, so it's pretty great.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You're too kind.
When it comes to, when it comes to like marketing and stuff like that, posters is what
it's what
really
sells.
got it.
Yeah.
As you can see, these are iconic posters. People know. Like,
Huge fan of
like
Frank.
one of these posters out, people knows like, yeah.
Mhm.
And and the poster for Cottonmouth was like the same. It's like what you said, and I agree, Alex. It's like, yeah, even if I didn't knew about this movie, I'm like,
I still want to check that
I
out.
want to check this out.
Yeah, that's how you used to select movies. We used to go to Blockbusters,
right?
go off the box.
Yeah,
Like, man, that's the
That
Blockbuster,
looks good. Let me get that one.
So.
Like, yeah, mom was like, you don't want to read the plot in the back? Like, nah, I'll watch it.
Look at this poster. It's too cool to not pick it up.
Right.
You know, like even if it's garbage, it's like, oh, whoever made this, it looks so cool. You just gotta watch it, even if it's garbage. Doesn't matter.
I mean, it's like when you were at Blockbuster. Have you guys ever seen Killjoy, the clown?
The clown? He's a clown, right?
Yeah, Killjoy the clown.
I remember it a little.
Sort of. Yeah.
He has 4 movies, and like I remember seeing that all the time. In which now it kind of goes like, Killjoy was the Wish.com version of Terrifier.
Pennywise too. We have Pennywise at home. Pennywise at home. Classic though. You're talking about like the poster or like the DVD cover art?
The VHS.
It scared the fuck out of me.
It would scare the shit out of me. And
About to look it up.
when I finally rented it, and I was like, "Ooh, it sucks." Like, this didn't scare me at all. That's how he talks.
They got you, Steve. They got you.
He totally did.
I felt that way when back in the 90s when I was over my cousin's house and we was like, okay, this one, I think they still in business, Family Video, because we was out my cousin's house.
I think it's really small still, but I think it is still around.
Ain't that amazing? Family Video is still around.
Yeah, they
in
moved
2020.
Crazy.
Or in the suburbs, like further suburbs,
And the main one, and the main one we went to was one in University Park because that's where my cousins and them grew up. Me being a city boy, I went out there on the weekends, but I felt the same way when I looked and the family. I'm like, this Halloween free? I'm like, oh, free. I'm like, we're gonna see Michael. Well, there's no fucking Michael Myers in there. I'm like, what is this shit? Season
Halloween.
right. My uncle looked at me like, you don't like the movie? I lost my appetite. I can't even enjoy my but the artwork looked good. I like the poster. Poster what got me. But I was disappointed when I watched the movie. I'm like, I lost my appetite.
Yeah, poster was good.
I was like, you sure? Like, I eat the pizza for breakfast and the Popeyes for breakfast. I want to go to bed.
You know what? You know what poster that I really like? The Reanimator.
Oh,
Yes.
Classic.
that one got me too.
Yeah, the classic poster.
Mhm.
Herbert West Reanimator. Oh man, that's what's it called? You're talking about the one where it's him and the head is like right there.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good.
Plagiarist.
Jeffrey Combs, man, it's so good. It's what's it called? Stuart Gordon, another, and it's Stuart Gordon, R.I.P. A local Chicago guy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Nice.
Oh, Shot Time in the house?
Yes.
Let's talk about Gobblehead too. So what made you come back to do the sequel? That down
Hey.
Gobblehead too. y'all went literally balls out.
There was an explanation.
Wait, Stevo, so were you Chris?
No, I was Eddie in the. I was the Juggalo, at the Friendsgiving orgy.
Okay.
Take that out of context.
As you take it's what you heard it as. I'm the juggler at the Friendsgiving orgy. And
Your line is like, wait, fucking.
I mean, I've always, it was kind of funny because we were helping a friend out, Jerry Gonzalez, on his film, The Spaghetti Man.
Okay.
I played character Marshall Mathers,
Nice.
and because all of it was just Eminem, puns for a majority of the movie.
Well, so spaghetti pum. I guess the thinking there was mom spaghetti.
Yeah, so I was Marshall Mathers off of Mom Spaghetti, and the next thing happened when they were. I think it was like almost like literally the next week we shot Gobblehead 2, and I was just like, I already just played somebody from Detroit, so I might as well play another thing from Detroit, Juggalos. And all I'm playing is Detroit characters lately. So
He showed up with he's just like, I just remember just getting asked the question, can I play a juggalo? I'll play a juggalo with this. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together there. I was just like, what the fuck? I guess so, yeah.
What was like shooting that? The sequel.
So which one?
What was the experience like shooting a sequel then?
I was like a party.
Oh yeah, the sequel is crazy. Like more like to the first question, like we kind of all like as soon as we made the first Gobblehead, we figured we'd probably make another one because of how fun it was, and we thought that it could perhaps like be a parody of franchises that outstay their welcome. So we're like, all right, well, we can make it 2 and see how it goes. And at the time, we were joking about making them up to 4 or 5, including like Gobblehead in space or something crazy like that. Having a moment where it jumps the shark. But especially since they were trailers, and another like kind of in joke, like conceptual joke would be that we only ever make trailers for this series. We don't ever make a full short film, but like they started looking like short films anyway. Yeah, like 2 was very expansive because 1 was shot the first one was shot over a 4-day period, not like 4 full days, but like the first 3 days were pretty fragmentary, like couple scenes here, couple scenes there per people's availability. Then the last day was the big day with the big dinner scene, and all the other characters are going to make it the other days. Then 4 was 5 days, or 2 was 5 days spread over a couple of weekends, and that one we just went nuts with locations and group scenes because the other projects we were working on that year were like all like just consisted of interiors, and we're like, let's do some location stuff, and let's do the fight scene, and let's get the drone out. So we just wanted to kind of throw everything in there. And then like editing was actually kind of a problem because we had so much footage, and that's why we have the stuffed cut, which we're releasing this Friday, the extended verent.
Yes.
And
How many minutes of missing footage?
2 extra minutes of footage, a whole 2 extra minutes. It went from 6:20 to 8:20. But yeah, a fun experience, very crazy because we shot it in October and then ended up with a mountain of footage, and there was no like final shooting script because we were playing around with it so much, with both gear and the story and styles. But it came together and we finished it. That's why this year we filmed everything in August almost.
It was a different,
yeah. We were like,
more time for us this year.
yeah,
Part of the high for those first 2, especially that first one, was like we cut it so close to
oh yeah,
the holiday that we wanted to get it out on. We were like, that was part of the high there.
yeah, like the first one, like I said, less than 20 days. Like November 6th that year is the day that we like met. And we're like, all right, we're officially greenlighting this thing. And Alex just made several Amazon orders worth of makeup and effects supplies. And then we shot it over that 4-day period, and then we edited it the following week, and that's why we released that one on Black Friday, because we're like, we need this time. We need to finish everything, all the post audio and everything.
And we didn't have enough time to get a Popeyes turkey, so we just got
We just needed the table people eating stuff and doing the hillbilly accent. So
Guys up the ante on the kills, man.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones, we took his beak and ripped the mouth clean off the. I'm like, ooh.
That was all Jerry.
Oh yeah, that's totally Jerry
That's
doing his own makeup on himself.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that was gruesome.
Yeah.
It's like, and the Gobblehead's like got like it's like a guy in a mask, but his beak works like a normal.
Right.
Refuse to explain.
They're not explaining that.
Be careful.
That is funny, but yeah, I definitely like, and I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference at the end. That was dope.
Yeah.
I got it beat it. I'm like what Leonardo DiCaprio chainsaw,
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw.
What was the location for that last scene?
Oh, it's a secret. No, that was. So in this case, like my family ended up getting involved. Like Cottonmouth was a whole lot of Alex's relatives. Now we got mine involved. So that scene was shot out at next to my parents' property. They have like this piece of property out in Earlville, Illinois, just like 20 miles, about 10, 15 miles north of Ottawa. And so that's where we shot that scene, just in a gravel road next to where they live out there. And actually, like in that scene, in the opening scene, the actress playing the blonde actress, that's actually my younger sister, Chloe. And because she's always been like, it's always that, like, when you're making movies as a kid, siblings, hey, you want to act in my thing? So that's continued all these years. And then in the opening scene, the guy playing her husband is my brother-in-law. So that's another couple that we put into something. Yeah, it's continued.
It's a running theme.
We got to gather the relatives. They have no choice. You're obligated to join us.
Just get in front of the camera. Shut up.
We need to use your house for a weekend.
You have no choice. Get over here.
We'll send you to the Motel 6. Go have fun.
All right, you're gonna be in this movie. You're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy it. You owe me anyway. Remember that time when we were kids?
We'll give you gas money.
Promised me you was gonna give it. This is payback. Now you,
And how are you going to kill me again? Oh, yeah, disemboweled. Okay.
right.
Let me ask, what can we be in store for part 3? Which you said is released this month, correct?
Oh yes, yep. Working for Friday the 22nd. We just have sound work basically to get done.
Gobblehead 3 is going to be an epic. This is going to be an epic. I don't want to say conclusion, but the next exciting chapter in the Gobblehead saga. We brought back some old faces from prior movies, and we got some new people. It was fun to bring Chantelli back. This one, she's a badass vigilante who teams up with another Gobblehead survivor.
Nice.
And they're planning on taking down Gobblehead, and we introduced plenty of new characters, which oddly enough, a lot of the new characters are actors that we've worked with in the past on a lot of short films, and we just wanted to bring everyone together again for something new. And yeah, it's going to be it's pretty epic. Like Nathan was saying, it's beginning to feel more like a short with each segment, and then now this kind of ties the first two. All three of them are kind of becoming this like cohesive like story, which is cool and hilarious that it's even happening.
It's also kind of becoming like a reunion of like, we've worked with so many different people over the years, and like, Gobblehead has become like, okay, now we got this person doing makeup. We brought this person back to do makeup. Now we have this person acting. We have this person acting. Oh, how's this person doing? Yeah, let's get them back.
Like Alexa Hartfield.
Alexa Hartfield came back.
She was in Bowel Movement. She Christmas Cookies. And we brought her back to play one of the characters in Gobblehead 3.
If you guys haven't seen Third Wheel, that's a great little from us. Yeah, I like Josh's little snicker on that.
The Third Wheel from
That was a fun one.
That was Alexa Hartfield, and then we stuck my brother in that one as well.
We basically just let Alex's brother Tim just like improv for like however long it took to get everything, and we're just like, all right, just like hit these benchmarks in the script, and he would just ramble for like 20 minutes at a time, and I would just like, and I was like, I. I was doing camera on that, and it was all handheld, and I literally would just like, he would just say something, I would just like crack up and just like double over laughing. So there's like a whole like outtake reel where Tim's just saying stuff, and the camera just like goes down to the fucking floor because I'm laughing so hard, like I just can't contain it.
You look like I sucked a gargoyle's dick.
Just the most bizarre shit. It was great.
He's on top of being like our guy for producing the music for these films. He's also a guy that we bully into being in front of the camera, and we'll throw latex on him. We'll dress him up as a giant child or an Easter bunny, and he's always game. Well, that's not true, but he'll do it.
He'll do it.
Tell the story of when we gave him COVID.
Oh, so that one, we lathered him up in blood, and we're like, all right, we have to shoot an exterior sequence where you're dead or you're being killed, you're in the midst of being murdered, and we go outside to film it, and it's freezing. Probably ill-advised, but also we're like, we got to get this shot, and this will be hilarious because it's freezing. So we go outside, and he's just drenched in blood. And he's making noises that sound like he's trying to pass a bowel movement. And he ended up getting sick, and don't feel too bad for him because he's an asshole, and he's always like, everyone was getting sick at the time, everyone was catching it, and he's just like, well, I didn't catch it. How he never catches COVID is beyond me, because the man is. I don't want to totally shout at him, but I'm going to do it. Not exactly a beacon of hell. But he got sick, and as soon as he was sick, he was kind of confined to his bedroom for a while. And I was like, how are you feeling? And he's like, oh, I feel like shit. And I was like, oh, man. All right. So it looks like you got some free time on your hands. You think maybe you could do a quick turnaround of the soundtrack for this film? And he was like, oh, let's see what I could do. And God bless him.
He made it.
He did it.
He did
it. Awesome.
Music, and the final track that he did the vocals for is amazing. It's too good for the film. It's like that's a complete bop.
I literally get the Gobblehead theme song stuck in my head because it's such a banger, as the kids say.
Same.
Yeah, he just cranked out the Gobblehead one's the original soundtrack in just like 2 or 3 days or something like that. While sick with COVID, while in quarantine.
It's a very talented schmuck.
I'm going to submit to the Chicago Horror Film Festival.
What's that?
Are you guys going to submit the third film to Chicago Horror Film Festival?
Oh, so we have plans for that. Basically, what we're going to do is after 3 is done, we're going to combine all 3 into one short because they kind of form a story at this point, and we figure that'll be a more substantial piece to submit to festivals. So once the third one's done, we're going to figure out how to put them all together in one, be about 12, 15 minutes, and then that's what'll go out to festivals. So in short, yes, in a new form with all 3 together so that it makes a whole story. Because like just sending Gobblehead 2 or 3 out would just be kind of confusing. Like, what is this? Where's the others? So this way, it's like it'd be like kind of like a chapter anthology, but all the same story.
Okay. I want to talk with you guys about your company in general. What the Kino Crew? Come up with the Kino Crew with the name, and it's a 2-part question. Like, what? How you came up with the name, and also what is you guys' mission as far as what is the Kino Crew want the audience to see from you guys? Like,
Okay,
That's a good question.
I didn't talk about the name. I remember the name coming up with process very well, and then everyone else throwing their stuff.
I think it was me being a clown.
Yeah, like the name. The name was several weeks of work. like we like it started with just the word Kino being, internet language for to just describe a positive cinematic experience, because we kept seeing it used that way on Facebook film pages that we follow. Like people saying, that was pure Kino. And we thought, okay, let's do Kino for something because that's pretty distinctive. And then we're like, okay, it's got to be an alliteration somehow so that it's easy to say. And after several weeks of just like brainstorming variations, we came up with Kino Crew. And we're like, that works. It's short and sweet and alliterative. And both Kino and Crew have 4 letters in it, so it'll be easy for graphic design. And then Josh, collaborating with Sarah, who helps with our graphic design, came up with the logo with the film reel on the O, and we're like, it's perfect. So
it's Kino.
We worked really hard on it, and before we like officially decided on it, we just did a quick little search of social media handles and just search Google, and we're like, okay, nothing out there is called Kino Crew. Let's do this. And then when it came to creating the LLC, we're like, all right, no business is called this either, so we're in good. We'll lock it down, and we did. So, yeah, good culmination of just those efforts.
And we've been making shorts before Kino Crew. We've been making shorts together for years, and we're like, let's just finally make a thing.
Arcade Video was one of them before.
Arcade Video Productions was one we had done. And that was a one we did for uploading older YouTube videos, like the Bow Movement. Before that, there was a couple other ones that we put together.
Yeah, Burnout Boutique and the Rust Belt. Yeah, this is like Kino Crew is like a final sort of culmination of many other such efforts.
Kino Crew, we got the paperwork involved.
We were tempered and seasoned by this point.
Nice. Dope, man. That's what's up.
It was a phoenix moment after the pandemic.
You rose from the ashes.
For boobs and blood.
Boobs and blood. Give the people what they want.
Boobs and blood, the official. Yes. The boobs and blood. And and because I wanted to, because you guys are bringing a different take to horror, and that's why I wanted to ask that question, like what your mission you want to get from the audience. And what I'm getting is like, yeah, this is a fresh take, because which is gonna leave us to one of these last questions. It's like, because horror today is not what it used to be, especially in Hollywood. So there's a lot of good classic movies being ruined by remakes. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden now we into this so-called requel genre era, when we have a direct sequel to Halloween and direct sequel to God knows what. Because when I watch you guys film, it's a different take. I'm like, oh, I see what they're trying to get to the audience. Like, hey, yo, people, we have fresh horror. We have fresh ideas. This is something new. This is something different. Not your typical, let's just fucking just remake Friday the 13th. No, we've seen that before. And that's a classic. The famous line from Sydney in Scream 4. One thing about remakes, don't fuck with the original.
Yes, exactly.
We actually had this conversation a couple days ago, and my take was, I enjoy more of the indie stuff than I enjoy more of the indie stuff than the Hollywood stuff because of the fresh, the fresh new take. Mm-hmm. I thought Terrifier was a little bit over the top, but we needed that for the horror community to keep thriving, because the 80s it was the slashers, and then the 90s it kind of went to like supernatural type deals, and then we went to like the hardcore blood and guts era, Saw. And then it's just kind of like, what's next? And so that the Terrifier it pushed the envelope And it also pushed the genre into a whole new direction.
Yeah.
And tying in with what we see from you guys, it's a fresh new take, and it makes me, as a filmmaker, as a horror watcher, as a lover of all movies, like I fall in love all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's about
And I think what's interesting that you bring up Terrifier. I think the success of the second and third movies, especially, I think that's actually like, we can talk about like the quality of the movie itself, but what I think, for me at least, like, there's no reason why that second Terrifier should have done as well as it did in theaters, making what, like $12 million or something like that, on like on like a $250,000 budget. And then the third one, it's unrated, it's independent, and I get the sense that they had like studios wanting to help them make that third one, and they said no. That's just my speculation, just because like it was like a huge box office hit. And then, but like the fact that that third movie, not only like made like what, like $50 million or something like that, but the fact that it beat out like the Joker sequel, which was like, I mean, I know that the Joker sequel, like, I know it's not supposed to be good, but I guess my point being is like it beat out